What's going on? Happy Monday to everybody. We're here. We are ready to continue our app that we're working on with Inertia and Laravel. I did a couple things over the weekend, so let's jump right in and I will show you where we're at and we'll pick up from there and we'll actually start building some core pieces of the app instead of just like the basic authentication stuff that we've been working on. So since we've talked last time, what I have been able to do is get our authentication set up, complete with errors coming back, like validation errors. And I know that we're supposed to be using Tailwind with this. I'm actually waiting until Tailwind UI drops because I think it drops later this week. So I'm just holding tight with Bootstrap, and we'll do Tailwind when that drops, and we'll actually implement that on stream. So here's where we were. If we looked at our app, it's basically an event management app. We went over what the app did on Friday's stream, but I have added in some validation messages, right? So if I do this and then that, should come back. Oh wait, actually, I haven't added them in here, so I'll show you how we do that. So if you go to forgot your password, that should work, right? Okay, and then if you actually, this was our example user, you can see we got the success messages coming back too. That email actually sends, so we can actually reset our password. Let's actually go back and look at this login thing. I'm not quite sure why that 419 expired popped up. Let's try not there.com. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. That was weird. But you can see I've got the error popping up here too. So the way that I did that was actually kind of what we did on stream already. So if you look at what's coming back for a response from login now, you see we added this auth on stream so that we could get the current authenticated user. But what I'm also doing is now I'm bringing back errors, if there are any errors, success, warning, and then error, singular, because I'm going to use those three to pass around flash messages in the application. And then status I had to put in there because that's what the reset password stuff sends back by default. The way that we did that was just like we did with the other with the auth user, right? So we had the auth user shared with our components this way, and so I just came in and did it with errors is a little more complicated because there's kind of multiple, right? You have to get the bag and then get the messages in the bag, or you return nothing basically. And then same thing for status, success, warning, and error. And so since those are shared, what that lets us do in our view components is, for example, for login, we can simply do a if there's a, this is just like a JavaScript one-liner, right? So errors is going to come back as a prop, and it's an object. So I want to say object.keys. Object.keys will give me an array of the object keys. So for example, if your object looked like this, then object.keys would give me an array that had foo and yes, right? And so what I can do with that is check to see if there's a length, and then loop over that. So I can say, hey, for every key that we have in the errors object, output the error at that key. And I'm just doing the first error. I know Laravel gives you multiple errors per fields if it generates it. So we could have done another loop in here, like a errors.key.length, and then looped over that, but I didn't do that at this point. So that's how we get the errors. Now the flash messages are actually even easier than that, right? So if I go to forgot password. This is a simple VF status. So if status exists, then we're just gonna output it and display it. And then we just want to be explicit with how we bring those props in. Okay. So that's that. It was pretty cut and dry. Like I said, I went ahead and added that kind of off camera because I want us to get into kind of doing application specific functionality today. So specifically, I want us to do users or staff is what we're going to call them here. Although we'll do it off of the user object to make life easier with logging in and stuff like that. We'll just label it in the UI as staff. Sorry, I hope everyone likes my Optimus Prime coffee mug because the death of Optimus Prime in the classic 1980s movie was probably the most one of the most traumatic experiences of my childhood. All right, so let's do some user management. Again, we're going to call them staff, but they're actually users. So if we come back to our app again, I'll show you kind of where we are from a visual perspective. All right. Now, I've been getting this error in Chrome. I'm not worried about this. This is a local app, and it's all dummy data. But cool. Thanks, Chrome. I appreciate you looking out for me. You're annoying, but that's okay. I did implement logout as well. That's actually really simple. Let me show you how I did that, too. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you how I did that. The way I did logout is in the layout control. Oh, I didn't mean the right folder, sorry. The layout, I just post to the logout route. And since Laravel handles redirects anyway, like it just all worked and it was great. And then just a simple one-click logout. Now don't worry about the visual of this. Like I said, we'll be working with Tailwind UI when it comes out here. Hopefully in the next couple of days. Sorry, I misplaced my phone. There's my phone. And my watch is kind of blowing up here. Let me just make sure that everything is all right here. Uno momento, friends. Yes, everything is fine. Okay. So I want to stub in some basic navigation here. I don't want to do anything super fancy because, like I said, we are going to replace it with Tailwind UI when it comes out. So for now, we're just going to kind of just do a little bootstrap nav bar right there. And maybe I won't even do a nav bar. I might just do it as 2 columns and do a left-hand navigation and then let us kind of work through that. And we'll work through the visual once we kind of build out some of these pages. I actually toyed around with doing a... you can actually tell Laravel to do a preset none for like Bootstrap and stuff like that, and it'll remove Bootstrap. But I want to do that like right before we do the Tailwind stuff. So you're probably going to see a lot of stuff look ugly today. I'm not going to do a lot of styling and things like that, but we'll kind of get there as we go. Let me do. Let's see. I need this window up. Where'd it go? Oh, I'm already got it up. There we go. It's this one. So let's come into our dashboard view. So we're in app dashboard. And let's just do a simple and then what's it call to? We'll do a UL. Again, I'm not really going to style this up other than to get it to sit side by side. That'll be called 10. That should be dashboard. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I forgot to start up npm run watch. So we make sure we rebuild this stuff. Actually, 1 second, chat. I'm going to do some window management real quick. 1 second. Okay, I am back. Apologies. I just needed to move something over to the side window here without y'all seeing it. Sorry. Something's got to be secret, though. Okay. So if we do this now, if we refresh, Now, if we refresh, there we go. You can see that it's there, and I probably did the bootstrap code wrong. I believe I have to do a row, right? Don't I have to do div class equals row? I'm going to be so happy to pull all this out later this week. Adam Wathan, if you watch this stream, which I know you do, and I'm actually joking, I would actually be kind of starstruck if you watched this stream. Please release it this week so that I can make this app pretty. Thank you. Okay. Let's do some more links here. So I know I want to have staff. That's what we're going to work on today. And we've got dashboard. Now we want to make sure that we use this inertia component that we're getting kind of by default, because inertia is going to wrap the view stuff that we put in place with kind of a container that will give us access to some of this stuff. I want to make sure I use inertia link. And I want to set its href to be /app. Okay. We'll just do /staff for this, even though it's going to be users. We'll figure that out. All right, so that's going to set me up so that the linking in between the pages is happening the way that inertia wants it. It doesn't necessarily want a hard refresh every time you do a link, so we're just kind of making sure that it does that. And if you look, if you hover over, I mean, it's just outputting a link, and I actually messed that up. It should be /app /staff. Okay, so let's get started with this. Let's make our user controller. We want it to be resourceful. And I want it to be, what was that folder? Did I call it dashboard? No, I called it app. App/staff controller. Great. So I got all of my resource routes that I want. We'll get to that in a second. Now, I do want to touch on the user migration, because if you remember, I told you guys that I had actually kind of started this as an API and a straight up React app. And so I actually have a lot of these migrations already. And so we'll just have to check some stuff here, right? I mean, we have email and password, so we don't really need to worry about our auth. Our auth should be okay. We'll have to update our factory. But we do want to do some stuff with roles, right? So I'm actually going to copy this migration that we have here. I'm going to come into my actual migration. And you can see it's really not that different, right? I added a role ID column. There's a first name and last name. I like to split those out. And then email, password, reset token. Soft deletes. Should bring back the remember token since it's not going to be an API. There we go. All right, so now I actually want, we migrated this previously. So we want a PHP artisan migrate, rollback, and PHP artisan migrate. Awesome. Now, unfortunately, that nuked our Kara test user, our Kara 95, but we can make some more. But we do need to tweak the factory a little bit first. So if I come into this user factory, you see this is kind of what we had. And then if I come to the actual user factory, it kind of matches that migration. It's really just the same, except for the top here. Yeah, I think we need to do it like that. Let me change how I do this email just to be safe. Yeah. So we need to do it like that. So now we have first name, last name, role ID, email verified app, password, remember. Okay, so now if I PHP artisan db seed. Oh, we're not doing email verification. Okay, so now if I PHP artisan tinker, user all, you can see I have them and you see their names are split up. And now we'll be using Wiki 12. just because that's the first one I see. If I can, well, you know what? I don't even need to copy. So let's log out. Let's come back in as an actual user. This is Vicky12 at example.org, I believe, and then password should get us in. Great, so we're back in. And notice that we kind of broke up here in our layout, right? Because let's go to the layout component. Because we're looking for auth.user.name, we need to actually do first underscore? No, camel case. So you need to do first name. And I think first name is fine. We can say welcome back, you know, Sue, Joe, Bob, Billy. I think that's okay. We need to run npm watch dev. Oh, it's npm run watch. I always get that command wrong. Did I get it wrong again? What? What is the command? npm run watch. That's it. What's happening? Command not found. What's the matter with you? Well, what am I doing wrong? Yeah, should be npm run watch. Oh, sorry. I'm in the wrong terminal window. There we go. npm run watch. That was our existing project. Let me put him down out of the way. All right. So if I go to staff, we're obviously going to get that 404. Which we need to fix our errors like this, right? We need to fix, like our 404, we need to make come back in an actual like kind of view component so that Inertia can play around with it. So let's, which we are not going to do right now, but let's make some components here. So for app, let's make a new folder. Let's do new directory and let's call it staff, just so that we can keep everything organized. I'm gonna do new file, staff listing.view, and we'll have a template. If we spell template right, it will have a layout, and we'll say this is the staff listing. And it's import layout from // shared layout. And then we'll have components. Here will be layout, and then props. We know we're going to want success, error, because those are going to be our messages that we would pass back. And I think we can start there. Yeah. All right, so we save that. And then we come to our staff controller, we can say render return inertia render, and it would be app/staff/staff listing. We'll give it some stuff in a second. And let's update. There we go. Now, and I got to do routes. So let's open up web. There we go. And we will do route resource web, web, staff, app/staff controller. So this should now give me, this is the staff listing. Oh, you know what? We will need to set up our nav to be a included link as well. But you know what? We'll do that when we actually get to the design of what the app is going to look like here. So let's do this. Let's go into staff listing. Cool. This is the staff listing component. Nice. And I can go back and forth to the dashboard. See, everything's great. It is odd that it's not setting my page title, though. That is very odd. I wonder if it's because of the layout stuff that we did. Oh, no. Look, we can go here. It's just because there's no title set, right? So we can do title, and then we'll say env app name. This should still work because this should still be processed as Blade. Nice. Okay, so staff listing. We need to pass down a list of users. So let's make sure we have users first, which we tinkered, so we know that we should, right? So let's do this. We need to do users equal user paginate, and I actually like to do pagination set in the env file. So we'll say pagination limit. Boom. But we want to do since this is staff, we only want to bring back where role ID is 1. Okay. And then let's just DD users. Now look, only admins should have access to our staff, but we'll get to that after we get the staff CRUD built out. Okay, so yes, we can see that we have stuff, we're paginating, we have 10 total. Feel like we're good here. So let's pass users as users into our view component. And then for staff listing, let's do, I have this somewhere. Should be mounted. What's the syntax for that? Always forget. Oh, you know what? Actually, we can delete all of that because those are old auth views that we don't need anymore. Oh, okay. It's like that. Should be that mounted console log staff listing mounted. Okay, cool. So let's see what we get. Let's bring that in as users as a prop, and we'll console.log this props. All right, so we get an object. And this object is representative of what you would get in Laravel. But we want to make sure that when we loop over, should be data. Yeah, data is actually going to have all of our different users. And then the rest is going to have pagination stuff, since we chose to paginate it. So let's just do a simple dumb listing. Again, because we're not doing a lot of styling here, because we're waiting on Tailwind UI to come out. We can get rid of mounted. We don't really need that anymore. Well, actually, I'll keep logging that out just for a bit so we can see it as we mess with it. So let's just do as much as I don't want to put like bootstrap styles and everything, but let's just do something like this. Wow, I really need to HTML here. It'sthead, tr, th, user, and then tbody, tr, td. So this is where we would do a v for user in users.data, and then we would do user.first name, boom. So there's our user listing, essentially. I suppose I could. I don't really want to put a lot of bootstrap classes in here, but I suppose I could do that just to give us a little bit of something there. If you notice too, those are all out of order. Let's just go ahead before we go any further and just say order by last name, order by first. And then just for readability's sake, we'll do that. Nice. Okay. So at this point, we've dumped out a list of users just as fast as we would if we were using Blade or something similar. So I think we're already starting to see like how cool inertia can be, because it's not really adding anything to our workflow. Like, it's not slowing us down. Yeah, we're working in Vue versus Blade, but big deal. We will have nice fancy icons and things like that, but for now we can do just simple links. Well, we'll actually want that to be dynamic. Should be a string literal is how I should do that, I believe. And I want it to do /app/user/. Ooh, how do I have to do that? I think if I do it that way, it will interpret it. Let's just see. Let's learn together, chat. No, it did not like that at all. View. When in doubt, Stack Overflow. Oh, okay. That's kind of ugly, but Oh, yeah. See, I like that better. That's what I wanted. So maybe it was just my editor not highlighting that for me. This is a lot cleaner, I think. Yeah, so if I did it like that, and then said app. Oh, it's staff, not users. Staff. Come on. And it would be user.id. And get rid of that. Okay, that compiled. Nice. Yeah, you can see over there. We're linking to them. And we haven't set that up yet, which is why. Getting that. It doesn't know to return an inertia view. Okay, so there's that. And then we'll do delete in a sec. Actually, we can go ahead and put delete in there. We'll say delete. And then above this, we actually probably want a... Actually, we don't need to make it dynamic like that. We just do slash app slash staff slash create. Add new staff member. All right, so we're a little bit better there. Let's knock out the delete real quick, because the delete is actually going to be way easier than we think. Now that we've got views set up in here, it's just JavaScript for us to do it. So, coming down here, we will say methods. It's going to be an object, and we'll say delete user. Be a function. Let me see. Yeah. And we'll do a this dot inertia dot, I think it's delete, and it will be to, well, that will get passed a user ID, and so it'll be app slash user ID. And so here we would want to say, we'd actually want this to be a button, not a link. V on click equals delete user, user.id. All right. Now we don't want to delete Annabelle because that's who we are, and we should add some checks in for that too. But again, Annabelle's not an admin, so she should never actually even be able to see these users anyway. We'll get there in a minute. So, Elena, we need to delete. Well, let's delete the second. Let's delete Selena Daniel. So let's delete that one. You see we get a 404 for a delete to slash at. Oh. I have to put in the right link. Selena will do nothing because our delete method doesn't do anything. So let's go to our staff controller and let's use some route model binding and just prove to you that that is actually working, and actually kind of prove to me too. I'll hit delete. You see we dump her out. And so now it's just as simple as saying user delete, and then we will say return redirect to app slash staff with success We'll say, um, so now I can do user, first name, user, last name. I think that should work. So I need to go to... Now I think ultimately I'll probably want a centralized location where I can handle these messages and show them in one place versus a bunch. Let's come back to that. We are accepting success already. So let's just say maybe above the table here. Or you know what? Let's just do here. Well, let's do there. And it would be VF success. Let's try and delete Selena. Boom. Selena's not deleted, is she? She's still there. Why are you still there, Selena? Oh, wait. Isn't it destroy? I think it might be. Well, so I did do soft deletes on that. Oh, let me change that back to what we actually had. Yeah, it's almost like that's not. Okay. Let's check something. What is her ID? 6. Okay, yeah, her deleted at is null. That's odd. You know, I wonder if I have that soft delete column in there, but I didn't tell the user model. This could be it. What if I did it from here? So u equals user find user 6. Okay. U delete. User find 6. No. Okay, that's right. If I refresh, are you gone? She is. But it's okay. So now we're on 8. Huh. I wonder if it has something to do with the route model binding. Like, what if I just take that back to say, okay, that's the ID, and I'm going to say user equals user find ID. Actually, it would be find or fail ID. Let's do Tara Marks, who is 4. Well, now see, that worked. Okay, so it had something to do with the route model binding, but what exactly it had to do with that, I am not sure. We do need to fix that name as well. So for the name, we could do it like this. We could say name equals user f and oh, actually, no, we don't. I just need to remember to put that in there. All right, let's try deleting another user. Leonardo, say goodbye. Leonardo is gone. Okay. Cool. All right. I feel like this has worked a little bit better now. So you see, the workflow is pretty fast. Let's do this. Let's do edit next. Actually, let's do add, so we already have the form. Yeah, add may be a little simpler. Well, you know what? Let's fix our errors first, right? So like if I go here and say I want to edit, well, actually that's probably not. We can handle that in a second. Yeah, let's do this. Let's add a new member. So let's say new file. Let's do template layout. Let's grab this little bit here. Oh, I didn't get it. Let's do that. And then I want the errors. Right? So I would grab that. I'll put that there. Success we won't see here because we'll redirect back to the listing page for that. And again, when we get Tailwind UI, we will make this look prettier. So we're not going to put a lot of effort into the pretty on this right now. For props, we want to take errors. We also want to import layout from shared layout. We will components be layout. All right, neat. Add form here, fam. Oh, we forgot to return it from our view here. So let's go to our controller. This will be the create form. We want to inertia render. It's at staff listening, and we don't need to pass anything. And remember to return it. I made a huge mistake the first part of the stream on Friday. We lost like 20 minutes because I forgot to type, what is that, 6 letters in front of inertia. AKA, I forgot to return it. If you're watching the stream and you're new here, make sure to click the follow button. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Usually start around 9. I started a little earlier this morning. We're building some stuff with Vue.js, Laravel. It will be Tailwind UI when that releases, which is supposed to be this week. So right now it looks kind of funky with some Bootstrap. Not to say that Bootstrap is bad. It's just that I'm not putting a lot of effort into making it look not funky, because I know I'm going to strip all that out in the next couple days anyway. Hopefully. Oh, I completely broke something. What'd I break? Okay, step. Oh, wait a minute. It should be staff create. Or staff add, sorry. Huh. What happened there? Did I not, did I do something wrong? Export default, boom, 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 that's right. Add form here. That's staff add, script. Come on. You can do this. Does anybody know if you're watching, is it, will npm run watch pick it up if you add new files, or do you have to kill it every time you add a new file? I think that's what just happened. Yep, so now if I add, we got the add form because we're returning the inertia route. So we're going to talk about how we're going to do some validation with this too, right? But first, let's just do something stupid simple. You know what? Let's just steal what we have from here, so we could probably find and replace it later. Right, we know we're going to need that submit method. So we want their email address, so that's okay. We want it to be form.email. Oh, we need to kind of set these up. So we have email, we'll have first name, last name, password confirmation. What else will we have for the staff? We can do an image upload. I don't see why we couldn't. But let's maybe keep that simple for now. What else do I have on that? Let's look at the migration. First name, last name, email, password. Okay, yeah, that's it. And role, we know they're going to be 1 until we add in the admin role and the extra stuff they can do. All right. Oh, data is not an object, data is that. Yeah, okay. No, maybe not. Sorry, my view is a little rusty. It's that. Oh, and you gotta return. I gotcha. So it's that, and then we gotta return an object. That's that. All right, so we got email in there. It's already bound. Let's just dupe these real quick. So we want first name, type of text, name is first name. Ooh, sliding around everywhere. And that would be first name. Last name. What's going on, chat? Happy Monday. Welcome to the stream. If you're there and you're watching, let me know in chat. Let me know you're alive. Let me know you're okay. Email, first name, last name. Then we need 2 password fields, which I actually have. On reset password. I'll grab that button too. Give me that. Give me that button. My button. Can you have it? All right. Create user. So on submit, I want to do that, but we'll also want to say this inertia. Inertia. Yeah. Remember, this is that JavaScript library that they give you to kind of tie everything together with, in our case, Vue and Laravel versus using something like Axios. So you definitely want to use Inertia's library. So this inertia.post, and it will be app/staff. All right, there's our form. Pretty simple. But watch what happens when we post. We're going to say create test at test.com. We're going to say create user. Oh, man. Let me pull this off of these. Just so we can make this happen. Do test at test. Now, create user, first of all, is giving us a 200 for that post, but we actually want to validate create user. So let's go into our staff controller, just like we normally would. And here we're going to store. But the reason that it brought back that view is because this returned 200. What's up? Is that Lilla Hamstern? What's up in chat? How are you? Good to see you. Happy Monday. And that's returning just an empty response back to us. First thing we want to do is validate it. And I like to do the form validation classes. So we'll do PHP artisan create. Just a bit confused. Okay, confused about the stream or just confused in general? Oh, am I good at SAML SSO? I guess the question would be, is anyone good at SAML or SSO? Add staff or create staff request. Oh, it's make. So Lila or Lila, you know, I've used it. We have built it and implemented it at work, in my day job, which seems odd since it's 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm streaming, but go with me on that. We built that. It can be complicated, right? You basically have to have what they call the it's either IP or IDP, which is your identity provider, which is basically like this is the source of truth to say this is a valid identity. And then, so it's almost like, what's the right way to say this? So you got 5 apps. All the login forms for each of those apps IDP. There you go. All the login forms for each of those apps would have to hit that to basically say, is this email and password, if that's what you're using, a valid identity for someone that's in our system? That thing is going to say yes or no. And then it's also going to say, I know you have 5 apps. Here's their permissions for those apps, right? Because you could be in certain situations where I'm an admin for this app, I don't have access to this app, and I'm just like a guest user in all the others. So then that data has to be passed back to the referring apps so that it knows how to log you in. And that's like the 400,000 foot view of it. Like it's obviously not the simplest thing, but yeah. Do you have specific questions maybe? Because that's about as far as I go without looking at stuff. I'm going to change this to be create staff request so we can validate it. And here we're going to authorize it. If we say you make an application and you want customers and companies to be able to use SSO on your website. So from your website, sign into your app. It's possible. So like if you just had one app, technically everything's a single sign-on because you only have one application, right? Where SSO or SAML comes into play, and all SAML is, SAML, all it really is just like a protocol for everything to talk back and forth to each other. It's like saying RSS is a flavor of XML or a protocol for XML for like news feeds. It's kind of the same type of situation. But if you only have one app, okay. Let me see. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Let me see. Observers SSO. Yeah, so what that means, and we'll use Clubhouse as an example, since that's the link you put. What that means is that Clubhouse will accept stuff from your identity provider, basically. And Lila, thanks for the follow. Chevy, what's up, buddy? So yeah, you would maintain your own IDP basically and push stuff to Clubhouse, right? So let's say your company was called Lila's Hardware, right? And you had like this inventory application. And you wanted users of Lila's Hardware to be able to SSO into Clubhouse. You would have to have some record on your side that's like, Chevy here has an account in yours, and then Lila has an account, I have an account, and then that would need to be able to push to Clubhouse. So really, it's simple when you're dealing with apps that are already built, right? So like you would go into Clubhouse and say, this is where you validate my logins at, and you would give them a URL. If you were building that, it would be a little more complex. And I say I have built it because we've built it at work, but I've not like hands on keyboard built it. So there's that to consider. Hopefully that makes sense. Usually for stuff like Clubhouse, yeah, you would just give them a URL that when someone logged into their app. So like if I went to Clubhouse and said email, password, Clubhouse will then say, okay, you've got an SSO URL here. I'm going to take this email and password and pass it back to this SSO provider. And if that thing says, yes, they're a user, they have access to Clubhouse, it basically returns true. And then Clubhouse is like, cool, I'll let you in. Like that's how it works when you do it with stuff that's already built like that. but they will need to change their source code for a new customer. Not necessarily. You can make it dynamic, right? Because like the way that works is you can set up like what you can set up almost like kind of dynamic identity providers per client in their SAML and their setup on their side. Well, so that's where SAML comes in, right? Like there's a standard response. So there's like a response format that you send back in SAML, SAML, right? That's where SSO and SAML get like tied together. So SAML is basically just the communication format in between, right? It's like I was saying, RSS is a type of XML, and SAML actually I think is XML that you pass back and forth. And so they know that the response is going to be a certain format, and then they'll just parse that out. And Chevy, buddy, we were doing good on music, and I could hear the music, and chat can hear the music, but then I got a follow, and it killed the music for me. Like you guys, I think, can still hear it, but it killed it on my side. And I have no idea why. So I know we were fighting that the other day. Yeah, let me see if I can tweak that real quick, just so we can go back. So there's that. That is there. That is there. Okay. Properties. Chevy, do you hear music right now? Or Lila, do you hear music? Like, did the follow just kill it? We can't hear music. Okay. Yes, Lila, to your question, right? Yeah. SSO is the thing, and then SAML is how it communicates back and forth. Oh, there we go. I think it's back. Is it back for y'all? Cool. I don't know what I did. I just clicked a button and OBS and didn't change any options, and then it started working again. So yeah, I think I'm gonna buy Chevy. I don't know if you use one, but I'm gonna buy one of those like Elgato stream things so that I can just run HDMI out of my Mac into my PC and then stream off the PC. I don't know. I'm gonna do that. I think it's way easier than dealing with this audio drama that we have here. Okay. So moving back to the code here, good conversation there, Lila. Oh, you have one, Chevy? Send me a link in chat or something for the one that you have, because I'm assuming you're going from Mac to something else. HD60S? Okay. Yeah, that's the one I was looking at too. Okay, so I'm putting a little note for us to come back. When we set up admin users, we will make sure that only an admin user can create staff. And now remember, I had set this up as an API already, so I actually have the create user request validation. I'll snag that. We'll put that there. Now, I didn't do any messages, but we can tweak that later. And then we also want password to be confirmed. What could I call that feature? Well, if you're the one building the app and putting it on your pricing page, you would do what Clubhouse did, and you would say it's SSO, right? Because I know at the day job, when I go out and I look for stuff like applications like that, it is a lot nicer if I can use SSO for stuff, and we have like a suite of apps that we use SSO for, and it makes it nice. There's companies that, if you don't want to build it yourself, there's companies that do it for you. meant more for just researching. I would say, let's see, setup SAML or SaaS app. Yeah, this is one that I've used in the past that you can, like, it's a third party. But. Gosh, yeah, I see what you're talking about. It would be nasty to custom SAML application. No. Build. How to build SSO SAML. SaaS, software as a service. So, pretty much any, like Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a SaaS, software as a service. I mean, I see. Ooh, Auth0. You might just be able to use Auth0 and not have to build your own. Yep, look right here. This is an example, and this is really small, I know, but I'll put this link in chat. Like, this is an example of the SAML stuff coming back. And so when you were saying, like, well, that all the responses would be different, no, all the responses would follow this format type stuff. Actually, that's a request. This is the response. Yeah. So I would read through this. This is actually a really good write-up of it. And it actually tells you how you can play around with it too. Yeah, this is cool. I'm going to put this in chat for you real quick. Hold on. So try that one, Lila. I would trust Auth0. I mean, like, that's their bread and butter. Like, they build authentication systems that you can use for a living. Like, that's what their company is. So I would trust the knowledge that they have here. So I think that's a good place to start. But yeah, it is a lot. And it's a lot to take on. Okay, let's go back to our code real quick. Where were we? We were creating users and we were going to validate them, right? So now if I refresh this and I try and do this without putting in the right information, boom. My errors come back because of that little snippet that we put in and because we're sharing errors between Laravel and Vue. So we've got errors there. We could, and I'll just show you how to do it because maybe we decide to do this in our actual version, right? But we could say something like this. We could say, so just to show you what this looks like. Oh, I'm not npm running. Sorry, hold on. npm run, watch. Chevy, Lila, how were your weekends? Did you do anything crazy over the weekend? Besides research in SAML and SSO? Where's my little paragraph I put in there? Oh, there it is. It's on the side. So boom, this could be an error, right? Although we would probably want to put that there. I think it's text danger is is what they call it. Yeah. Okay, so you can see that could be an error. So maybe we could actually do something like this, right? We could say v if errors email. And then we could do this as errors email 0. We'll use array notation to put in that error there. Planning for a new project. Cool. Programming. Awesome. Love it. Yeah, Chevy, we're doing Bootstrap until I heard through the grapevine that Tailwind UI is supposed to be released this week. And so I'm just kind of holding tight until that drops. And then when that drops, we are going to... I will spend whatever the price is. I don't care how much it is. I'm going to buy it, and we'll dive into building some stuff with it here on stream. But yeah, so for now, we just have some Bootstrap, so it's not plain. We're not trying to do like a whole lot of styling, just kind of some basic stuff. But yeah. Okay, so here's what we did here. We basically added in like kind of contextual error messages that said like, hey, this field is required, just by kind of doing this little one-liner guy here. I'm going to leave that because maybe we'll do that in our final layout. Maybe we won't. But we'll have that code in there if we want to pull from it. Okay, so we know that we can't create a user, right? If we don't put in all the information. So let's actually try and make a valid user. So we would want to do here in our store, we would want to say u equals user. No, I like to do it this way, new user. So now we only get to this point if our request is valid. Yeah, Tailwind itself is cool, Lila. I use it just by itself all the time, but they're actually, what I'm talking about is this, right? So like this is the CSS library, which is great and it's awesome. But then there's also this kind of like UI kit in and of itself that they're launching, which is hopefully supposed to be up this week. And I figured out how you can see this picture better and zoom in on it. So if you come here and it's this one, I think. Yeah, I think it's that one. And then yeah. So then you can kind of zoom in. So like these are just some of the components that they've already built out and built up that you can use with their stuff. Like this form layout here is, I love this. This is great. Like I want this. I like this listing layout here. Like I'm going to use the snot out of this when it comes out. This login form is fine. Like it's great. Is the CSS better than Bootstrap? Well, you're comparing two different things, right? Like Bootstrap is designed to kind of be a visual framework and to kind of say like this is like a visual language for your design, and you put a nav bar on something and it looks this way. Tailwind, on the other hand, is more utility driven, and it's kind of designed to say you can compose that visual look and feel based upon the classes that you put on, right? So rather than putting a navbar class on there, you would say, here's a background color class, here's a text color class, here's a sizing class, right? And so it's more utility driven than what's the right word? Utility than like visual driven. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's create this user real quick. Right, they don't have components, and that's why everybody's excited for Tailwind UI, which is supposed to launch this week or next week, because that's what that is. It's their own component library. So yeah, when they first started, they didn't have it, but now they're adding that out into their ecosystem. So bear with me while I try and type without errors here real quick. request email equals that's it. Save. And then we will, just gonna steal it from down here. With success has been created. All right. So let's just see if this works. We will do test@test.com. First name will be Chevy Wood, just because you're here hanging out. Password. Aha! I know what I did. Or did not do. I did not actually pass the data. Cool. And then you see our user has been created. So I do want to dispatch a email real quick when they are created. So let's do that. So I'm going to cheat a little bit, I think. And just grab some stuff here. Yeah. So let's grab that. Because I actually forgot that I want to make sure that this app is doing a lot of logging. So let's import the log. Okay, they were created. It would actually be you. Oh yeah, you know what? We should just go ahead and pull this in. This full name attribute. Let's just put that on the model real quick. We can steal it from over here. I know I'm bringing in a lot of code, but I'll walk through what it does in just a second. Full name attribute. User model. Cool, we got a full name attribute there. I still want to come back here. We are logging some stuff out, which is good. I want to already save that. So we'll come back to the to-do for the photo uploads. So we'll import mail. And again, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do PHP artisan make mail staff created. And then let me do the npm run watch again. And then I'll come over here to my staff created mail. And I will actually probably just grab all of that. Let's go to mail, staff created. Boom. And then I want to do emails. Where's my resources? There we are. View, new, directory, emails. Our emails are obviously going to be Blade components because we're not going to send view files to our folks via email. Dudersec, 1 second, and I'll show you. Let me copy this over. Oh, I never actually did the email on this. Okay, so here's what a nurse is doing, right? So let's take, for example, our listing page. Go back to my listing page of users, which I'm here, right? So normally you would have this as a blade template, and if you wanted some type of JavaScript interactivity or whatever, you would have to bring in jQuery Vue or whatever and do some stuff. The way that inertia works is it's kind of this view between, glue between Laravel and Vue and Laravel and React. It depends on which one you want to use. It'll support Svelte. It also works with Rails backends with the same 3 front-end languages. But it lets us kind of just return Vue components as an entire page, and we can pass them props from our PHP, right? So if I go to, let me go to my other PHP Storm window here. So for example, this listing page, I'm running a query just like I normally would in a Laravel controller. And then I'm saying I want to return an inertia view, and I want it to render this view component, and I want to pass it this data, right? So then this view component over here, our staff listing component, just loops over that data, just like it would if you had passed it as a prop to that individual tag. So they call it the modern monolith. So it's kind of like a SPA, which is built solely with Vue or solely with React, whatever language you prefer, and an API built in whatever language, who cares, kind of came together and made their own type of application, and they're both kind of there together. So it's pretty fun. It's really cool to work with. But good question. Okay, so this should go ahead now. We've come through. We've got all this. I need to import that email. Import that email. Got it. Yeah, man, no problem. New staff. Boom. Sometimes PHP Storm and its imports aren't expected app mail user, got app user. Oh. We need to go back to our mail and just hit an import on that real quick. All right, so we should be able to now create a user, and it will do a couple things. It will queue up an email, which locally, it's all synchronous. I'm not running queues locally. It will log the fact that staff was created, and then it will redirect us. So let's give it a shot. Add new staff member. Staff at sample.com. Staff memberino. Password. Cool. So they've been created. Let's check our logs real quick. So if I go to, where's storage? Storage, logs, today, scroll all the way down to the bottom, boom. There's our log line right there. That staff memberito was created by this user. Oh, good question. Good question. Let me make sure this email's sent, and then I'll answer that for you too. Do your sec. So I'm using Mailtrap to send mail locally, which if you're not using Mailtrap, just start using Mailtrap to send mail locally. Because what you get is this, it's just a dummy mailbox that it sends stuff to. And so like I can come in here, like here's the email we just sent. This was some other stuff I was doing. Actually, this is when we started the stream and I showed you that the reset password notification worked, right? And so that came across. So you can see here that this is sending the email. The email isn't right. It's not formatted and everything. We need to fix the email, but the email is being sent. I'll probably just clean up that email off stream because that's just an email template. We won't worry about that right now. But yeah, use Mailtrap. They have a free plan. Let me see here. What's their free plan? a free plan is plenty if you're just building some stuff locally. What is it? Yeah, you can do 500 emails a month, just 5 emails every 10 seconds, basically 1 every 2 seconds, and 1 inbox, which is, I have used this for a couple years and have never needed to like upgrade. Like, I would really see you upgrading over here as if you're building a bunch of apps that were constantly running like test suites that were sending emails because you weren't mocking stuff, all that other stuff. But yeah, this is a great little app to use. Okay, so Duder, back to your question. I used to mainly use, but if I wasn't building 2 separate things, right, like a Laravel API and then like a React front end, I wasn't. But I would mainly use. I would be like you, right? I do vanilla JavaScript or jQuery to do like the interactive stuff. The things that you get with Vue and or React, you can kind of pick your poison here. It's this kind of concept of a virtual DOM and the ability to kind of do DOM updates relatively easily based upon changes in data, right? And let me show you what I mean. I'll do a quick example for you. So let's go to our listing page, right? So let's just say that above this table, I want to spit out a variable, right? And maybe it'll be called, gosh, let me think of a good one, right? Let's say, this is a cliche example, but let's say it's clicks. We'll do number of, right? Down here. And your syntax would be a little bit different if you were looking at React or Vue, but bear with me on this one. Clicks is 0. And I need to add the comma. Clicks is 0. So if I reload this page, I see number of clicks is 0. Now let's say I have something over here that is, if I click this button, we'll do set clicks to 5. And we'll say v on click equals set clicks. And I'll just say set clicks should be this dot clicks equals 5. Right? Hey Cabal, how are you? All right, so Duder, if I hit set clicks to 5, you see clicks change to 5. And you're probably looking at me and you're thinking, big deal, right? Well, what if we were using clicks in multiple places, right? What if I had clicks there? And then what if I had clicks on every row? I mean, with jQuery, that would kind of be a pain in the butt to update, right? Because I would have to target that element and set its text value. I would have to target like this table and say every time you see like this span with a class of this or whatever, set its value to clicks, right? But if I just click this button, you see it updates everywhere, right? And so that's the concept of those, the DOMs. Yep, exactly right. You'd have to target it all. Now, the cool thing too is that they can all kind of be reactive to forms, right? So let's say, let's see, input type equals number, v model is going to be clicks. Right? So where does this input get its data from? It gets its data from clicks. So should be able to do this. And then if I come in here and start tweaking this up, you see all those are changing, right? If I set it to 5, you see it all changed. Set it to 5,000, right? So it's this concept of like this virtual DOM that is constantly kind of updating itself and looking for references on its own, versus you having to do that manually in jQuery. That's probably one of the biggest things you get by using a framework like React or Vue, to answer your question. Cabal, how to change language? Spanish. You want to change to Spanish or from Spanish. Either way, I don't know the answer. Right? I'm sorry. I really don't. Yeah, Duder, it makes your life way easier, right? Because look at how quick that was for me to do that, right? To hit set clicks to 5. And then let's say this logic changed. And let's say it was set clicks to 600. Right? And then I just come down here. I change this function. Right? Refresh. Boom, now clicks to 600 everywhere. Right? So it's really cool. Like it's totally worth playing around with, man. If you've never done anything like React or Vue, I would highly recommend it. It's easy to do it bad, right? But I think you kind of need to do it bad a couple times before you realize that you're doing it good. When you start looking for stuff on React, you'll probably see stuff with Redux. Don't immediately dive into Redux, right? Like I think a lot of people use Redux as a crutch. Redux is basically like a state management thing. So, don't necessarily worry about all that for day one, right? Also, Dudersec, thanks for the follow. If you're coming from a jQuery background, Vue will probably be the easier one to pick up. Also, since you use Laravel a lot, there's a better marriage, I think, between Vue and Laravel than there is Laravel and React. And I'm saying that as someone who typically does more React development than Vue development, as you can tell by me stumbling over a lot of Vue syntax sometimes, just because I'm not used to that syntax. So I would probably recommend Vue if you were just getting started in one of those. Yeah, no problem, Cabal. Hang out, ask questions, and we'll do whatever, man. This stream's coffee is brought to you by Optimus Prime. That's not an official sponsorship at all. Please don't shut me down, Hasbro. Okay. So we've added the user. We deleted users already. So we just need to edit the user. User and staff are being used interchangeable here, just because of the way that the app is. I solved the problem with Azure Ooh, cool. Yeah, Active Directory is very similar, Lila. So I can't remember which one was around first. I feel like Active Directory was there longer, but they both kind of solve similar problems, definitely. All right, so let's edit the user. So I add a new Vue component. Oh, Duder, watch this. This is one thing I like about Vue, especially since Laravel Mix is kind of set up to handle this for you already. So you can come in and make a .vue file, and it could have a template. This is where your HTML goes. It'll have script. This is where your JavaScript goes. And then if you wanted to, you could do CSS all in one file, right? And then Mix that comes with Laravel is smart enough to extract all that out and build it all the right way. So that is definitely... I like writing stuff like this with the template and the script a little bit better than I do writing stuff in React. But that's just me being super picky. But that's a cool feature, I think, of Vue. One more, I think. Layout. Nope. Well, if I get my import syntax right. Layout from shared. // You know what? Copy and paste it is. Oh, it absolutely can. It absolutely can. Oh, I know why that should be up there. Now, it can definitely speed it up, Duder, and if you watch what I'm doing here, this is me saying like, hey, I want to use other components inside of this component. This is how Vue does it. React does it a little bit differently. But that's what this is setting up. And I can then say up here, layout. And that will render this Vue component right there. And then I'll have other stuff inside of it, right? But let me see here. I'm gonna need data, which is that. I'm gonna return. Form is gonna be an object, which we can pretty much grab a lot of this. Also, Dudersec, I don't know if I said it or not a second ago. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. I try and stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Start on or before 9 a.m. Eastern and usually go till 11 or so Eastern time. So usually just a couple hours. But we try and get as much done as we can in that time. Okay, so we got that set up. That's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And then my submit method down here is going to be... Oh, you know what, though? What if I just tried to reuse my form? I feel like I could do that. I just use one component for the staff form, and it reacts based upon whether or not I pass it a staff object. I could do that. Let's get this working first, and then we'll go from there, I think, and see. All right, so staff add. I'll go back to staff edit. So there's methods, and we will need to do a put. Since it's an edit, and this is actually also going to take a user. And that will be user.id. Oh yeah, yeah, Lila. It's stupid complicated. It really is. It really is. Yeah, that's why I'm glad that on my team, that at the day job where we built this, I'm glad that I have smarter people working for me than I am, so that they can figure it out and build it. And they did a really great job doing it. So yeah. Okay. I'm on the edit. Cool. So now I need to come into my staff controller. And I need to pass stuff down to the edit. Not sure we're going to need a show. Not sure yet. We'll see how the app works. But so I'll leave it in there. Let's bind this bad boy. Let's say user is user. We'll just route model bind that via Laravel. And we will return inertia render. My path is app staff edit. The prop I want to give it is user, and that will be user. Chocolate. That's good. Personally, when I do that, I prefer whiskey, Lila. But I mean, if chocolate's what your thing, go for that too. I'm fine with either for dealing with coding pain. And I think crying is perfectly valid. Okay. So I'm passing that down. Now we want to come in and we already... Oh, well, you don't drink. Keep with the chocolate then. Come down to staff edit. And I just... Let's show the form first, right? So if I refresh, we should be able to see that the form will work. Am I... Oh, what's Laravel's route for that? I did it wrong. That's what it is. I need to come back over to the list. I'm linking to the show route there. It should be... It's /edit, right? No. Hold on. Let me look at the routes. What is the route? It is... Oh, maybe I just didn't refresh. And I rubber my stone duck. I don't know what that means. Do you... Like you rub it? Like it makes you happy? Like it's like a stress thing? I think that's what you're saying. Okay, so now I have the link right in here, and we should be good to go. So if I hit edit, cool, I'm going to edit. So let's pre-fill this, right? So let's go look at, we should see stuff for Christina. Let me pick somebody I can pronounce. Elena Howe. We should see stuff for Elena Howe, right? Yeah, okay, so it's like a stress ball thing. Yeah, you rub it for good luck and de-stressing. I like it. Okay, so now I can come back in here and come over to my staff edit. I'm already passing, from here, I'm passing a user prop down already. And I'm accepting it. So that really just means that I can come here and say this .props.email. And this is a little repetitive, but this .props.first name. This .props.last name. And I don't want to pre-fill the passwords. Yeah, totally. Stress balls are nice when you read stuff. V model, why you no do this? What's up? Well, I did it over here, didn't I? Oh, I see what I did. It should be this .props.user. What? Huh. What in the world is happening here, chat? Let me see. Yeah, it should be this .props, right? Just take that out since we don't need it in there anymore. Well, actually we do, because I want to look at that when we do pagination. So let me copy that. Go back to staff edit. I have to be doing something stupid here. If anybody sees it, call it out. It's undefined. Oh. Let's get rid of that there. I mean, that's how you pass it down. You just send it the array. Does it have something to do with... Because this was giving us trouble earlier. Does it have something to do with that route model binding here? User equals user bind fail B. Yes, it does. Huh, that's weird. You know what? I wonder if route model binding won't work with inertia. Huh. I wonder. We'll have to figure that out later. Okay. So let me clean up some of this console.logging mess. Boom. Yep. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll check in the admin to make sure that the password is... Actually, we could just delete it. Oh, I know what we can do. I know what we can do with this. We'll take this and we'll take it up outside of form, and then down here we'll check if it's set before we send form. But here's what I got to do first, chat. I'm in my office right now. Right there is the bathroom off of my office. I'm running to that real quick. I will be back in 30 seconds, and we will continue building this out. So hang with me, chat. I'll be right back. Lila, that's a great question. The bathroom's not in the office. I should have specified. There is a door that I have to go out of, and it's across the hall from my office. A great question. Okay, so we're back. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to take password and password confirmation out of this form object. We'll put them there. We will update our model bindings, right? And then we will say down here, if this dot password dot length, we will then do form dot password equals this dot password. And then we'll copy that essentially for password confirmation. So what this will do is this won't even pass them unless they have data in them. And then we can kind of trigger our logic on Laravel's side about, you know, does the request have or does the request not? Nice, Lila. Keep cranking. I like where you're at there. And that is actually wrong. It should be this stuff. Drop stuff. Okay. There's that. There's that. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So I want to edit this user. Let's just try a basic edit without messing with the password stuff right now. So we'll need to set up Laravel real quick. And first, let's do a PHP artisan make request update staff request. And we want to make sure that we pass this to updates. We'll say update staff request. And then when we update it, where's my request folder? When we update it, we basically want to do the same thing as create with a couple differences. And then we would want to say sometimes. So if it's there, we want the minimum length to be 8 and we want it to be confirmed. Oh, I know Azure is confusing. AWS is confusing too, so is Azure. What's better, I think, about AWS, I mean, they're both doing the same stuff, but what's better, I think, is there's probably more written about them and how to work with them than there is Azure at this point. So I think that, to me, gives them the edge because I can find information about them, but they do have some stuff, I think, that Amazon really doesn't. Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. I almost like Firebase, Google's, what is their app engine? Like I don't use Google stuff just because it's so hard to work with. Make it easy for me as a developer to work with, and I'll work with your stuff. Okay, so now we're back. Oh, you know what else I wanted to do? We do need to actually do the update. We don't need to send an email. Well, let's just copy all this actually. Okay, so we're not going to do a new user. It will be user find or fail ID. Set their first name, set their last name, set their email. If request has password. We'll set that. If they have a photo, we'll come back and do that later. Save. We don't need to send an email when they update. But we do want to say staff updated. Name of the staff, their ID, and then who updated them. Okay. And then we'll say user has been updated. That's npm run watch. Okay, my very first programming language, Lila, was C++ in college. And I always have a fun... No, I take that back. C++ in high school. And this would have been back in... let's see. 98? 97 or 98 was the first time I started messing around with C++. And so I always have a special place in my heart for C++ because I had to make chess games, tic-tac-toe games, and gosh, nothing fancy, just little console apps that, you know, showed an X or an O on the screen, that type of stuff. But yeah, I do have a special place in my heart for that. And 30 copies of MS. I like that. That's funny. Oh. Lila, you're going to fit in quite well here on the stream. Make sure to check us out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, so I think I've got what I need to edit. I'm just going to try just edited. Just put this in front of everything. Edit user. Can't we properly call, say what? Let's refresh. Oh, did it actually edit it but not redirect me? Where's my log? It did. Interesting. Yeah, I have no desire to be the guy that's streaming to 10,000 people at once. Like I feel like that's just too much work. But you know, I'd like to get the stream to have like 50 subscribers, or sorry, 50 followers, excuse me. So then I could take subscribers, I can take donations and stuff through Twitch. Like that would be cool. But then like once we hit that 50, like I'm with you. I kind of want to keep it small because I just want to hang out and write code and talk code with people, you know. And that's just me. There's other streamers that want to do, you know, bigger and better and greater things, and you know that's perfectly fine for them. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you, Lila. Okay, let's figure out why that didn't redirect. Let's try it again. Okay, might have just been a fluke where I wasn't running that thing. So yeah, she got edited. Let's edit her back. Yeah. No, I agree. Because they forget where they come from, you know? Like, the streamers do. They forget where they come from sometimes. Right, exactly. Or they'll have, you know, if they get too big, they'll hire somebody or they'll start putting moderators in chat, and then you're just talking with those people. You're not actually talking with the real streamers, you know? So yeah, I fully agree with what you're saying. Okay, so now let's try this password thing. Everybody's password should be set to password because that's how we generated it. So we want Elena's to be set to password 2019. Password 2019. I'm going to try and edit her. Cool. So now let me just grab her email. And let's try and log in as her. So if we just try password, it should not work. It did not. 2019. Sweet, it worked. All right, so I think we've got the basic staff CRUD done. Oh, you know what? I didn't see a message come back. Is there a message that comes back? Oh, well, let me try editing her again. Edit. Cool, there's that. So let's make sure it didn't mess up her password. So again, if I try just password. No, if I do 2019 on the end of it. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we've got the staff CRUD pretty much knocked out. We need to do some, let's see, we got about 45 minutes left to stream today, I think. So we need to do some pagination, I think, on this page. Let me see if I can find a view. There we go. You know what? I feel like we can build our own. We can do this. So the first thing we'll need to do, let's close out of a bunch of stuff. And we want staff controller, we want our staff listing, and I want the env file for just a second, right? Because I want to change the pagination limit to actually be 3. The reason being is I want to have multiple pages, right? So now I should get multiple pages. So if I look at the data that comes back, let me make sure I killed the console log. I have that one. Killed that one. Killed that one. Okay. So if I look at the data that comes back to the staff listing, Lila, I am a senior director of software engineering for a. So I'm not sure if I can actually say my company's name on stream, but let's say it's for a education company, and so I oversee a team of about around 50 developers building a platform to deliver that education. That's probably as far as I should go, because you know, if I say company names and stuff, like I should technically get permission first and things like that. So, but I think that answers your question. Okay, so we have this paginator here from 1 total 9. Oh no, 9 records too. Okay. From and to. So we would want to do technically both, Lila, to answer your question. I think I just want to need to loop from to 2. So let's do this. Ooh, how do we do a numeric loop in Vue? That's a good question. Ooh, we could do. Oh, okay, we could try it like this. So let's say we had. Let's find a component. Let's pagination component. No, okay, so he's doing that. And then he's saying yeah, see, I don't really want to build all this. Like, I just want to grab it. Oh look, that one's built with tailwinds. We'll just go ahead and grab it. Let's see. Oh, where's the tailwind one? Yeah, perfect. That's what I want right there. Yes, this is exactly what I want. Where is my code? I can npm install it. Fantastic. I mean, like, look, we could sit here on stream and build all that stuff. Gosh, I don't think any of us really wants to. Why will it not copy and paste that npm command, I wonder? Npm install dash save Vue ads pagination. Vue ads pagination, yeah. So Lila, where are you from? Are you based out of the U.S. or are you based in Europe? I know Chevy that was in here a bit ago was from the Ukraine, and he and I got to talking the other week about if Ukraine and Poland were the same place, or in the same country, I should say. Sweden. Oh, cool. That's awesome. I've heard that that's a beautiful place. I would love to visit there sometime. Okay. npm run watch. Alright, so I apparently just need to drop this bad boy in. Well, I'll need to import it too. But let's first drop him in after the table. And we'll then say components. I want that added in. And then I'll need to import another one. It's all right. I'm sure you want to start looking for a job doing SAML work, don't you? Or SSO work. Or Azure Active Directory work. Whichever one. So am I gonna have to like reload the page every time they click this? That's kind of snarky. I'm not sure I like that. Oh, I was saying that you should totally get a job doing SSO work or SAML work or Active Directory work because you seem super thrilled about it. Oh, well, hold on. First, we need to set some stuff here. This page we want to be what is it? Users. You should do it. Just be careful with what you publish. Don't publish any secret keys or anything. Yeah, totally make an article about it. That'd be awesome. Yeah, hold a talk, a TED talk, speak at a conference, all that stuff. Current underscore page is out. And that will be her page. Oh, gotcha, yeah. So you're gonna do I'm in the States, we say college. I think Europe is a little fancier than we are. So you say university? Are you gonna do college or university? Or are you just gonna go straight into the workforce? Won't do college? Go straight into work. Hey, I can respect that. Expected number with a value of 3 got straight. Oh, come on. Come on. This feels hacky. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I don't know. I don't think that this thing is actually working. Yeah, it's like page change isn't being fired. I mean, maybe we're gonna have to build our own. Maybe. Let's do this. npm. Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, it's cool that you're working for a company while you're still in high school. Like, that's awesome. You are way more productive than I was my senior year of high school. I was working at a Staples, which is like an office supply store, and I was selling people computers. And also those computers, you would get a special deal on. You could save $400 if you signed up for like a year or 2 years of I want to say it was AOL. Like AOL's internet service back in the day. Back when modems were around and you would dial up and all that stuff. Like it was... I know I'm dating myself, but yeah. That's, that was the day. Or those were the days, I should say. Okay, I think we're going to hold tight on pagination for a hot second. And I'm going to have to dig around and see if I can find some. We could start this admin role thing and do some permissions for users. I feel like we could do that. Yeah, I think maybe we should. So, how do we want to start that? We want to do that. We can start on the user. Where's my user model? Uh-oh. Delete it all. Abort. Uninstall the computer. Turn it off, turn it back on. It might work. I'm being stupid, Lila. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's go. Oh, what happened there? The music jumped from my headphones over to the Alexa. That was interesting. All right, I want to do a public function is at return. No, I want to do an attribute actually. Well, still do this. Get is admin attribute. Uh-oh, the app is up and running. I'm going to click on this. This isn't going to blow up my computer or anything, is it? Hamster apps. Hey! Welcome to Nginx. I can see it. Yeah, it's running for me too. Return this role ID. I know this is bad. Just go with it. So then with that in place, I should be able to do stuff like this. If you know what we could do? Let's do a middleware. Check this out. PHP artisan make middleware admin only route. So we can here we can say admin only route. If auth user is admin, I will return the next request, else I will return redirect /app. So basically back to the dashboard. Hamster ad. Please don't say I forgot to pay for my DigitalOcean. I won't tell anybody. Hamster. Hamsterapps.net. I see that too. It says hamster. Yep. They're both running for me. Okay. So this should let us do a middleware that we can then come over. Where's my kernel? Oh, you should do it. You should totally build a portfolio on it. There's so much you can do with a name like that. Obviously, you're going to have hamsters, and that's great. Let's do this. This one will be admin only. App middleware admin only route class. now staff you should only be able to get to if you are an admin. We don't have any users that are admins right now, so everybody should just get redirected to app. And that should work for like any type of request too, like a post or a list or whatever. If I just refresh, boom, I'm back to app. What we should, and let's hide this real quick, and then we'll make an admin user and test it out. So in the, well, no, I'm not going to hide that because it's not in the layout. And we'd have to hide that on every page. We'll do that when we actually build the layout. Okay. Let's make an admin user. So let's go to our DB Cedar. So here's our non-admin users. Then I can do a factory user. Just call it admin. Email. Admin at sample.net. Role ID. Do that. Yeah, if you think that would be useful, right? Like the thing with uploading stuff to GitHub and stuff is like, if you think somebody else can use it, or if it's something that you have solved like multiple times, it's probably a good idea to upload it. Yeah. I mean, why not, right? I mean, worst case, you could always show it to a potential employer and say, look, I uploaded this and this is what I did and this is why I did it and all that other stuff. And just speaking from someone that, hires people, I always look for what's the right way to say this? I look more for what you can do, right? So if you could show me something like that and talk to me about how you did it, why you did it, what was some of the logic behind it, why you made certain decisions that you made, why you didn't make some others, that to me is more important than like what's the quality of this code, right? Because it's a lot easier for me to teach you code quality, or we could put stuff in the editor that could enhance your code quality. That's teachable, but how to think is a lot harder to teach. So that's what I look for. So if you could show examples of how you think, I think that would be that'd be beneficial for you. Oh, obviously, right? Yeah, we all have personal projects to be billionaires on. I'm going to be a billionaire streamer, obviously, with my 23 followers and currently 2 viewers. I'm going to be a billionaire streamer. All right, let's migrate our database again. Oh, sorry, not migrate. Seed. Okay, so it should be, user shouldn't exist anymore. So let me grab, first of all, a non-admin user. Oh, let's do this real quick. DB table users truncate. All right, now we got some new people here. So that's the administrator account right there. So I don't want to touch that one yet. I do want to touch that one. So this should be like a staff level user who can log in. Cool, and if they go to staff, they're getting redirected back, right? They can't see it. But if I go in as the admin user, I can go to staff, I can add new staff members, I can do all this stuff. So cool. So now, since we've extracted that into a middleware, where did I do that at? Over here. since I extracted that into a middleware, we can reuse that on stuff that's admin only, right? Like stuff like our staff. And we don't have to go in and do checks in each of the individual files and functions and stuff like that. It's a little more global. Yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap it up for today. It was a good stream. I think we will come back on Wednesday, and we'll probably start getting into some event stuff, like creating events, not like programming events, but like physical people come and attend type of events. Yeah, I think that's probably a good plan. I'll do some cleanup of some things in between the streams. But if Tailwind releases their UI stuff, then we'll probably spend some time working on that too. Well, I totally should get a Discord. Maybe by Wednesday I'll set up a Discord server too, so that folks can chat in Discord. So yeah, if you're here, thanks for watching. Lila, thanks for chatting and watching. And good luck on your projects. And I will see everybody back around the same time on Wednesday. Take care.